So today we'll start with chapter 7, Introduction to C++. In this chapter, we are going to study basic features of C++ as a OP language, OPP, OP language. Until 1980, C programming was widely popular and slowly people started realizing the drawbacks of this language. And at this time, engineers had come up with a new programming approach that was object-oriented programming, OOP. This approach of programming was capable enough to overcome the previous drawbacks. Using this concept, Bjorn Stroustrup developed C++ at AT&T Bell Laboratories in Murray Hill, New Jersey. He developed this language in early 1980s and was very much concerned in making C++ more efficient. He based C++ on C because C was much suitable to system programming and was widely available. He has also based C++ on another OOP feature called Stimulor 67. So C++ is what? It is a superset of C because any valid C program is a valid C++ program too. But the vice versa is not true, right? That is very important. This can be clearly understood when we look diagram 7.1, where we can understand their relationship between C and C++, where C++ can make use of existing C software libraries with the major addition of class construct, right? That means all the C features are there in C++, along with one new feature which is added to the C language, that is what? Class construct. Therefore, C++ programmers not only make use of new features but also have the privilege of using the traditional C features. So in early stages, that is in 1983, C++ was it uses to call C with classes, but later on it is renamed to C++ because the plus plus is an increment operator taken from the C language. So this is what? Increment over C language. So that is the meaning of C++. Finally, C++ obtained a new outlook in the year 1997 when the ANSI ISO standards committee standardized the language by adding new features to it. So here OOP feature, this is the diagram which are the features, which is showing you the features of OOP, right? So these are the new things which are added to the C language. Characteristics of C++. So C++ has certain characteristics over other programming languages. So it provides you huge function library. That's why its popularity is increasing day by day. And more programmers are inclining towards C++ due to its multiple features. The one is object-oriented programming, where the object-oriented programming concepts are based on these concepts. C++ is developed, right? So here it's like the possibility to orient programming to objects allows the programmer to design applications from a point of view more like communication between object rather than a structured sequence of code, right? And portability. So portability in the sense programs written in one model of the computer can be executed any other model of the computer. So that is portability. We can practically compile the C++ code in almost any type of computer and operating system. That is the same concept. So brevity. Code written in C++ is very short in comparison with other languages, since the use of special character is preferred to keywords, saving some effort to the programmer. Modular programming in applications body in C++ can be made up of several source code files that are compiled separately and then linked together. saving time since it is not necessary to recompile the complete application when making a single change. So the respective file where you have done the changes, only if that file got compiled, it's enough. You need not to recompile the all the files associated with your software, right? So along with that, this characters allows to link C++ code with the code produced by other languages also, such as assembler or C language also. C compatibility is there. That means any code written in C can be easily included into C++ without making any changes. And programs written in C++ are very efficient due to its duality as high level and low level language. It reduces the size of the language itself, and it's a machine independent. That is nothing but portability, flexibility in the sense what it is highly flexible language with the versatility, right? So machine independent means portability. Programs written in one model of the computer will work on all the other models of the computer. That means what? Whatever may be the architecture of the computer, the C++ program works very easily. Wide range of library function. There is a very huge set of library built-in functions in C++, which will help the programmer to develop softwares in a very less amount of time, and even the cost will also be reduced. System software development. It can be used for developing system software like OS, compilers, editors, and databases. So here we are going to learn character set. Character set means as we are all learning a language. See, language in the sense what? The two peoples will be communicating with each other with the help of language. In the same way, programming languages are those where a programmer and the computer communicate with each other by using programming language. So when we are learning programming language, so there what happens, you must know what all the things are there in that. So that is will be explained in this. So if you are new to the programming language, from this part onwards, give more concentration so that it will be helpful for you. From this part onwards, up to the end of this C++ portion in your course. So these are all very important. And one more thing in the PUC syllabus, uh, maximum marks allocation is for C++. Anyhow, once you check out the marks allotment for each chapter, so based on that, you can give more concentration. Character set means to write one complete C++ command. What all the things we require, it is all called as character set. We can use digits from 0 to 9, alphabetical letters from like lowercase letters A to Z and capital letters A to Z. All we can use. They are permitted in this language. And special characters like plus, minus, full point, comma, inverted comma, all types of brackets, percentage, question mark, all symbols which are present on the keyboard, everything can be used, right? And here, however, C++ is designed in a such a way that it is capable of processing 256 ASCII characters as data or as literals. So what is token? Token in the sense it is the smallest individual unit in a program or lexical unit. So the most fundamental elements of C++ programs are tokens or lexical elements. So these helps us to construct statements, definitions, declarations, and so on, which in turn helps us to construct complete programs. So there are 5 types of constructors: identifiers, keywords, constants or literals, punctuators, operators. First one, identifier. Identifier means name given to different entities in C++ language are called as what? Identifier. For example, names given to variables, arrays, functions, etc. are called as what? Identifiers, right? So these identifiers, there are some rules for giving identifiers. First one, they must start with the alphabetical letter. Second one, they can contain numbers from the second position onward, and they can have digits, right? They can have digits, numbers, digits from the second position onwards, and and only the symbol which is allows while naming an identifier is underscore, right? So only the symbol allowed is what? Underscore. Here I'll show you. This is A minus B. See the position where minus is placed. Same thing, shift and that minus key you press, and now you see this is underscore. Only this is the special symbol which is used while naming an identifier. All other symbols are not used, right? And C++ is a case sensitive language. Case sensitive language in the sense, in this case, so for example, assume that you are writing some name called as XYZ in the program. So one you are written in lowercase, another you are written in uppercase. Both will be considered different. Assume that one X is capital, Y, Z are small. This is also different. X is small, Y is capital, Z. This is also different. Even though spelling is same, if the uppercase, lowercase letter, if the combination is different, it is considered to be a different name. That is why initially, if you have given this name XYZ throughout the program, if you want to use this name, you must write in the same case only. If you write something like this, C++ says that undefined variable, right? And then identifiers are the names given to the program elements like variables, arrays, functions, and all. Okay. So now you see there are some valid identifiers. This question may come. Like they may give you some name. Can you say whether it is valid or not? What are the rules you have to check? Starts with alphabetical letter or underscore. Spaces not allowed. Symbols other than underscore are not allowed, right? And keywords cannot be used as variable, right? Keywords cannot be used as variable. The student, starting with the letter, numbers can be present from second position onward. This is starting with letter, no space, no symbol, and it is not a keyword. That is why it is valid. So this is also valid because it is starting with underscore, which is allowed. Number is used from the second position onward. Any in any position, you can use the numbers. No issue. Here total score looks like gap, but the underscore is there between them, which is making a bridge between those two words. So this is also valid. So variable identifier names can be in capital letters, no issue. This is also valid, right? Number is used with the capital letter, it is valid. So here letters are there, numbers are there, and symbol is there. Underscore, this is also valid. Which are invalid, 34 data, 34, it is starting with the numbers, hence this is not a valid one. This is not a valid one. And reg dash no, they have used a dash which is not a valid symbol allowed in naming identifiers. Public is a keyword present in the C++, hence it cannot be used as a very identifier. So let us summarize the rules for naming identifier. First, identifiers are sequence of character which should begin with an alphabet, either from the capital letters or small letter or underscore. C++ treats uppercase and lowercase letters differently. It's a case sensitive language. The data is not same as data. No special characters are allowed except underscore. Any keyword cannot be used for naming an identifier. Identifier should be a reasonable length. Actually, there is no restriction on the length. So by utilizing this technique, if you write a very lengthy name, then it will be difficult for you only while typing the variable. So it should be a reasonable one. It should not be very much shortcut, very much lengthy. It should be a medium one, and it should be a reasonable length with a reasonable, right? So here, now coming to keywords. The keywords are here now. Keywords are the reserved words of the language. So first, let's have a little more explanation on this to understand what are exactly keywords. See, in English, while learning grammar or learning English, you will be learning about the, was, where, when, why, what, the, them, there, there, these, right? Still, all, should, will, would, like this. Yeah, many number of there are standard words. What these words we come across by learning English language. In the grammar, they'll be teaching these words only in different headings, right? So where these words, these standard words which are there in English, these words are intended for some particular purpose. And as per the grammar, in the grammar it is clearly said where this word has to be used, right? In what situation it has to be used, right? So as per that rules only you have to use. If you are using it for any other purpose, the fellow who is checking your right, English paper, then what happens? He may put a wrong mark saying that as per this English rule, this sentence, what you have written is wrong. In the same way, there are something called as keywords. There are something called as what? Keywords. Keywords are reserved words of the language. There are set of keywords which you can see in the table here. These are all keywords of C++ language, where the meaning of these words are predefined in the language. And those things only you are going to learn in the C++. And the situation where, when, why, how you have to use those words, it is pre-explained by the author in the subject. That only we are going to deliver you. Right. So if you try to use these words for any other purpose for which it is intended for, then it is going to be a mistake, right? So that is why keywords are what? Standard words. They have to be used for the intended purpose only, and in the given case only you have to use the same spelling you have to use. Okay, and those procedures for which keyword for what purpose you can use, that you will see in the forthcoming chapters, right? So they give special meaning to the compiler. See, programmers are not allowed to change the meaning of these keywords, right? Now, invariant program elements are called literals. See, literals are nothing but constants. Constant nothing but a direct value. See, for example, I'm writing 7. 7 is a literal constant value. Say I'm writing something ABC. Yes, this is also a literal. I'm writing 3.5. This is also a literal constant value. Like that, in C++, what are the different types of literals or constants are allowed? That we are going to see here. Literals are those, as the name itself says, these are the values which cannot be changed, right? They are fixed values, right? The word literal and constants are used interchangeably. They are one and the same. So here they are program element whose value does not change during the program execution. The following are the literals or constants: integer constant, floating constant, character constant, string literal we have. You can see this diagram. In the constant, basically four categories are there. Integer, right? One moment about integer and all. Huh. See, now integer means what? It's going to represent the numbers. They represent numbers without decimal part, without fraction part, a number without point. 3.5, it is not an integer. Only 3 points should not be there. Decimal part should not be there. So there may be a signed integer or unsigned integer. Signed integer means both positive and negative numbers. Unsigned means only positive numbers. Negative numbers will not be there. In this category, it represents decimal numbers, octal numbers, hexadecimal number, unsigned constant. Decimal number, octal number, hexadecimal number, you are very much familiar with this because in the previous chapter we had depth discussion on these number systems. And floating point numbers are those where number with decimal value are what floating point number. Characters means it may be a digit, one digit number, one single letter, one space, one symbol, right? They are called as characters. So group of character makes string. So here you see, constant is a fixed value that does not changes its value during the execution of the program. Execution of the program means once after writing the program, we will give it to the compiler. Compiler will translate my program to binary. Then it will be sent to the CPU for processing. That when it is processing our program, no, that is called as execution time, execution period, or execution of a program. That moment, these values won't change. They preserve their values as it is. Integer constants means these are the numbers that have no fractional parts or exponents. They are integers. Integers we can specify integers in three number system: decimal, octal, and hexadecimal. They can specify signed or unsigned. Signed means number with positive or negative number, both. Unsigned means only positive number, right? And then long or short text, both are available. So when we want to specify integer constant using octal, hexadecimal and all, we have to denote, uh, uh, we use a prefix that denotes the base of a number system. When we want to specify an integer constant of a given integral type, we use suffix that denotes the type. So here decimal constants are what? We specify decimal constant with a non-zero digit. See examples: int a 1587, decimal constant, no decimal point. Int b minus 148, it's a signed number, a negative decimal constant. Int c equal to 065 says leading 0 indicates that it's an octal number, not a decimal number, right? Octal constants are always in a prefix with the value 0, right? Remember, by saying giving this one, they may ask you what type of numbering system it denotes. And here, this is octal constant. And remember, octal number system allows you to write the numbers from 0 to 7 only. Its base is 8. Here 095, even though it is starting with the 0, which formally says that it's the octal number, but there is a digit 9 in that, where 9 digit it is not there in the octal number system. Hence, it is not an octal number system, octal number. Like this also you have to identify. Just by seeing 0 immediately, if you say octal number, it is not correct. Hexadecimal constants are what? Here we should always begin the specification with 0x. X can be in either lowercase or uppercase. That 0x says that it's a hexadecimal number, where in hexadecimal you know very well that 0 to 9 numbers are used, from 10 to 15 alphabetical letters are used. So you can see here 0x. It may be even in positive or negative, signed or unsigned. Unsigned constant in the sense what? So here unsigned means what? Only positive number. And we denote it through U, small u or capital U. To specify the long integer data type, we use small l or capital L. You can see here unsigned value 328U. Long, again it is represented in hexadecimal. And here this is represented in octal, right? Unsigned value only, unsigned long int value only, but given in octal. And floating point constants are what? These are also called as real numbers, real constants, where a number with a decimal point or a number with exponents can be considered as a floating point constants or real constants. So these are used to represent the number with a fractional part. It is represented in two formats. One is fractional form or fixed point notation. Another is exponent form notation or scientific notation we call. In the floating point, constants have a mantissa and which specifies the value of the number, and exponent which specifies the magnitude of the number, and an optional suffix that specifies the constant's type. The mantissa is specified as a sequence of digits followed by a period and followed by an optional sequence of digits representing the fractional part of the number. Here you see clearly it's given 18.45. 18 is an integer part, full point is a decimal point, 45 is a fractional part. The exponent, if represents, specifies the magnitude of the number as the power of 10. For example, 23.46E0 stands for 23.46 E. E0 means 10 to the power of 0. 23.46 multiplied by E stands for 10. That 0 becomes the power of 10. So here you see 23.46 E1 means what? 23.46 into 10 to the power of 1. 10 to the power of minus 1. Right. So now here that E can be written in capital or small, even positive and negative both are allowed in that. And floating point constants default to type double by using the suffixes F or L, whether it is lowercase or uppercase, right? So it is not case sensitive. The constant can be specified as float or long double in a very large range. Character constant. See, character is very important in this. Character means, remember, it is not, see, usually we, in the say, we'll be saying that fellow's characters are not good, this fellow's character is very good. It is not that character. Here, character means it may be a digit, number, or a letter, or a symbol, or a space. Whatever is there on the keyboard. All those are considered as a character. Letter, number, symbol, space, everything. Even space is also considered as one letter. So, a single character enclosed in the single quotation mark is called as what? Single character constant. See, the single quotation mark, you can see P is written inside the single quotation mark. So instead of P, what all I can write? I can write one letter, one digit number, one space, one symbol. And in computer, we have something called as ASCII number system is being used. ASCII stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange, where it represents 0 to 255 character, altogether 256 character, right? So where in that small letters are, lowercase letters are ranged from 97 to it is up to 122. Here only we'll see alt 122. Yes, 122. And capital letters range from 65 to 90. Right? Space is represented to 32. Numbers are ranged from 48 to 57. Like this. So different characters are represented in ASCII. So while programming, even that is important to know. There is another class of characters which cannot be displayed on the screen, but they have some special meaning for some special purpose, which will help us to make our output to be displayed, results to be displayed in a proper way. They represent tab key, they represent enter key, carriage return, backspace, right? So such characters are called as what? Escape sequences. And these are the escape sequence character. So that means all these characters, they starts with backslash only. After that, some character will be there. And these are the description of all those characters, right? So you need to remember all this while doing programming. We will be using some of these escape sequences. And the string constant means group of character. See, in the character I wanted to show you letter enclosed in the single quotation mark, number enclosed in the single quotation mark, space enclosed in the single quotation mark, any symbol enclosed in a single symbol enclosed in the single quotation mark are character constant. The same thing, group of character means what? More than one letter, more than one number, more than one space, more than one symbol, mixture or separately enclosed in the double quotation mark is called as string constant. See, I'm writing here, say for example, say ABC dash 153 star question mark. This is a string, which is combination of letters, symbols, numbers, and symbols enclosed in the double quotation mark is called as what string constant. And all string constant, they end with a special character called null character, which is /0. So this is the declaration syntax of this string constant. Don't worry, still many of you will not be knowing about this, not required. So in the detail next, in the further topic, it is there, right? And now in the memory, null character will be there in an invisible format. It will be allocated itself. Punctuators means, punctuators are what? Symbols which are used during program. That is what they may indicate some operation, right? Sometimes alone or combination, they may represent some significant, some type of operation or some types of special indication to the requester. And these are all the symbols and what they represent, right? See, we don't call this as an exclamation mark symbol. We call it as not equal to. Then there is a chapter called as operators and expression. In that, we are going to study in detail about all this, right? Okay. So in this part, only this much is enough. From now onwards, we are planning to make short videos, means maximum of 30 minutes, because 1 hour video means sometimes you may not be having that much of time to listen. That's why if we make short videos, whenever you are free of just half an hour, you can listen one part. Another half an hour when you are free, you can listen another part of the same chapter.